welcoming you. And this year, especially considering world events, we are filled with gratitude that we are able to gather in this great country. I definitely want to welcome all our chamber members, elected officials, department heads, town employees, residents, and guests to this annual event that we're happy to host on behalf of our town supervisor, Joe Emenger. The crowd in this virtual room today is a testimony to the spirit of cooperation, forward thinking, and vision shared by the town of Tonawanda, the village of Kenmore, and the Kenton Chamber of Commerce. I would like to welcome our past and present local counties and state elected officials, some of whom I know are on this call. I recognized somewhere in there the Honorable Bill Conrad, our New York State Assemblyman, the Honorable Lynn Marinelli, the former chair of the Erie County Legislature, currently the Director in Intergovernmental Relations for the Empire State Development, the Honorable Frank Caruso, our New York State Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable Patrick Mang, Village of Kenmore Mayor, and I do believe I saw Brian Culpa, the Supervisor for Amherst. And since it is a multitude display, I'm not sure if I missed anybody else, but we welcome everyone. I definitely want to make a shout out to our Kenton Chamber Board. Our chairman is Jonathan Jasinski, and he is through Harder, Seacrest, and Emory. Our past chairman, Bob Gilmore with Liberty Mutual. Our treasurer is David Stinner with US ITech. Our secretary is Colleen Burke with NOCO Energy. And we have an esteemed board this year, 2022, Nina Hurd from GM Powertrain Tonawanda Engine Plant, Andrew Croisdale from Kenmore Mercy Hospital, Jim Millard, the past president of Kenmore Mercy Hospital and currently with marketing agency Mirror Matter, Carl Zarek, Town of Tonawanda Councilman, David Miller, 3 DADX, Barb Osowski, Blue Designs, Jim Bauer, a retired marketing executive, and Jessica Martinez from Lakeshore Savings Bank. I also want to shout out to our past chamber presidents. Right now, I only see Paul Chisholm, welcome. And we definitely want to thank our business partners, Crown Benefit Group, our sponsors also, Kenmore Mercy Hospital, who is a gem in our community, Insurance Associates Marketplace, USI Tech, and Harder, Seacrest, and Emory. And then acknowledge our state of the town sponsors, the Town of Tonawanda Youth Parks and Recreation Department and the Kenton Meals on Wheels. The past 2 years have been very strange, but I firmly believe that we are looking at much brighter days ahead for the health of our community and businesses. The combined efforts of the representatives of the town, county, and state governments, the chamber, the many service organizations, our dedicated fire and police departments, and our wonderful school district are aligned for growth and positive impact on the future of this community. The Kenmore Town of Tonawanda Chamber of Commerce is celebrating 50 years of service to this community this year in 2022. And my goal is to set the chamber up for another successful 50 years serving this community. Now, we'll be hosting a number of events and an awards banquet this year. So just stay tuned to our emails in the checkout online. There's a calendar for all the details. Our tagline that we are the face of the community simply means that we work to facilitate, advocate, connect, and educate. And currently our board of directors is reaching out via phone to a number of small businesses to gain knowledge about their needs for the future so that we can align our programs and services to provide for current business needs. So we'll continue to work closely with the Kenmore Business Association, the Youth Parks and Recreation Department, Kenmore Rotary, Kenton Closet, Kenton Meals on Wheels, Kenton Friends of Youth, and others to help promote their services. And we're committed to the economic development of the region And over the past 2 years, we have worked, over the past many years, we've worked collectively and collaboratively with our other area chambers. And one in particular, we coordinated with the Amherst Chamber of Commerce to promote locally the Shop 716 gift card program that they spearheaded with Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz. Now, that gift card program currently includes 850 small business retailers, restaurants, and services, and has resulted in almost $3 million spent in the local economy. But our biggest accomplishment last year was directly tied to the generosity of the town of Tonawanda through the Small Business Big Impact Grant Program. We took on the challenge of running this program and assisted over 400 businesses to apply. It was a nearly 6-month effort with the town controller office led by Debbie Schwartz and Megan Lowe. The result was hundreds of checks going out to our immediate community. So since we are all in this together and our job is to serve you, I simply ask that you all shop locally and be an ambassador for the Kenton Chamber. Now, I want to introduce Joe Emenger because he has a lot to say about the program that I just mentioned, our grant program, as well as a lot of other things that are going on in this town. So I didn't want to take up too much of his time. He joined our chamber board in 2013 and served for several years, and he continues to support us. And we sincerely appreciate that relationship. And we look to build on the economic wins that this area has realized over the past many years. As an elected official, he is knowledgeable, honest, straightforward, and passionate about the well-being of this community. We do have a short video that we would like to show you, and then we would like to welcome our town supervisor, Joe Emminger.
Hello, I'm Joe Emenger, Supervisor of the town of Tonawanda. All of us on the town board understand how devastating the pandemic has been to our community. We also recognize that our small businesses serve as the backbone of our community. In an effort to assist our small businesses emerge from these trying times, I am thrilled to share that we have formed the Town of Tonawanda Small Business Big Impact Grant Program and authorized $2 million in grant money for small businesses in the town of Tonawanda and the village of Kenmore. I know I speak for the other members of the town board when I say that we want all of our small business owners to have access to the financial assistance made available by the grants. We encourage all who are eligible to apply.
Hello, I'm Cathy Piciulo, the President and CEO of the Kenmore Town of Tonawanda Chamber of Commerce. Serving as the voice of business, the Kenton Chamber of Commerce looks for every opportunity to help our local economy flourish. The Small Business Big Impact Grant Program represents the latest tool designed to energize and provide business owners with much needed funding.
We are at the Kenton Chamber office. I've been here since August 1st, working on these files, taking them to the town. Here you go, Megan. After months and months of work, we've had Bob around here since August 1st about.
Hi, I'm Joey from Mojo Market. Thank you, Town of Tonawanda, for the Small Business Big Impact Grant.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I do get started with my comments, I do want to acknowledge my fellow town board members who are on this call with me. Deputy Supervisor and Councilwoman Shannon Patch, as well as council members Carl Zurich, Gina Santa Maria, and Jill O'Malley. So I also want to acknowledge one of our town justices, Dan Cavarello, who's also joining us. So welcome, everyone. It is good to see all of you, albeit virtually once again, but I do want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to hear what I have to say today. But what I'm really looking forward to is next year, when I look forward to seeing all of you in person. I want to start out my talk today by thanking Kenton Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Cathy Piciulo and Board President Jonathan Jasinski for affording me the opportunity to deliver my annual State of the Town address, and for providing me this opportunity to speak to the residents and business owners of the town. I also want to thank my executive assistant, Jeannie Stewart, as well as Anthony Matthews for our IT department for all their help with this program. 2021 was another very busy year for the town. And as you'll hear, it was also a year where we accomplished a great deal. And in order to accomplish all that we did as a town, I want to thank those most responsible, starting, of course, with our town employees and department heads, who have done and continue to do a tremendous job, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to help make our town the great community it is. And while speaking of our employees, I would like to take a minute to recognize the heads of all three of our bargaining units. Jason Adams from our Highway Department, who is president of the hourly unit, Zach Leatherborough, who is president of the Police Club, and Ed Allen from our wastewater plant, who is president of the salaried union. Their job, like those of us who comprise the town board, are not easy ones, and we truly appreciate all of their hard work on behalf of their members. I do also want to thank my fellow town board members, who in 2021 consisted of Deputy Supervisor and Councilman John Barnese, as well as council members Shannon Patch, Carl Zurich, and Jill O'Malley. At the end of 2021, Councilman Barnese went off to what some would say is greener pastures at the county legislature, where thankfully for us, he is still representing the town in his new capacity as Erie County legislator from the 4th District. Replacing John on the town board is someone who has gotten off to a great start, our newest council member, Gina Santa Maria. And taking over for John as my deputy supervisor is someone who has earned the respect of everyone who has worked with her, Councilwoman Shannon Patch. All of them have done and continue to do an outstanding job in support of our community. Finally, while not on this virtual State of the Town address, I do want to offer my thanks to my family for all of their support for putting up with me for another year. Not that they have much choice, but for without them, I am nothing. So let's get started. I'm very happy and proud to report to you once again today that the state of the town remains very strong. Sound from a fiscal standpoint, strong from a development and redevelopment standpoint, and strong from the standpoint that the town continues to provide more services to our residents and business owners than any other community in Western New York. The sound fiscal services that have been in place for well over a decade now continue to keep the town's financial picture very bright as new families and new businesses continue to find the town to be affordable and attractive to raise a family and conduct business. I'm also very pleased to report that the town once again stayed under the state tax cap in 2021, which marked the 10th consecutive year we have done so. That doesn't happen by accident. It takes good planning and even better management. We will always search for ways to become more efficient, and we will continue that practice going forward. Despite our best efforts to be innovative, employ automation where possible, and consolidate services with other governments and within our own governmental structure, the town continues to face its share of challenges. As the town's budget officer, I work closely with our comptroller, Deborah Schwartz, to oversee the town's $108 million annual budget. I am pleased to report that the town has maintained a very stable financial outlook during the pandemic. And once again, at the end of 2021, we had a slight surplus in our budget. The importance of having good, sound fiscal policies cannot be understated, as our fiscal policies have played an important role in the town's ability to keep its high bond rating of AA2, which allows the town to receive the lowest possible interest rates available, saving the town taxpayers millions of dollars over the life of the bonds. Now let's talk about some of the things we're able to accomplish in 2021. I believe one of our most meaningful and biggest accomplishments last year was the implementation, as you just saw, of our Small Business Big Impact Grant Program. The grant program that the town board authorized made our town the only municipality in Western New York that took some monies received from the American Rescue Plan Act and gave it back to the local small business owners. The grant program was very well received by our small business community, as evidenced by the over 500 applicants we received. I'm also proud to report that we awarded over 400 grants to our local small business owners, with each recipient receiving $4,300. I'm also very happy to report that everyone who qualified for the grant, who didn't voluntarily remove themselves from consideration, received a grant. The grant program would not have been made possible without the efforts of the Kenton Chamber of Commerce, who served as our administrator of the program. The many hours and hard work of our Deputy Comptroller, Megan Lowe, as well as Comptroller Debbie Schwartz, and as well as Councilman Carl Zurich and Jill O'Malley, and many, many others. I would like to thank each and every one of them for all of their efforts in accomplishing our goal of getting money into the hands of the small business owners in our community, which is the backbone of our community. Another exciting project that we kicked off in 2021, and only the supervisor would say this, was our $3 million sidewalk restoration program. This program was on the heels of our $4 million street paving project that we wrapped up in 2021. The sidewalk restoration program is a 2-year project that will entail replacing over 75,000 lineal feet of sidewalks by the end of 2022. That equates to over 14 miles of sidewalks. The health and wellness of our residents has always been at the forefront of importance to the town board, and even more so since the pandemic started. Improving our sidewalks and making it easier for residents to exercise by walking in their neighborhoods, and for more grandparents to be able to push their grandchildren around the town in strollers are just a few of the goals we are striving to achieve with this project. But sidewalks are not the only asset we're looking to restoring. Last year, you will recall, during my State of the Town address, I brought to your attention that the town had retained Power Wellness, a national health and fitness management firm, to come in and do an assessment of our Aquatic and Fitness Center, which quite frankly needed some restoration of its own. In August of 2021, the town received the final report from Power Wellness. And since then, the town board has been going over and looking at ways to not only improve the financial picture of the Aquatic and Fitness Center, but also improve the programming. Based on what Power Wellness told us, the town has been looking at ways to implement what they were suggesting. And I'm happy to report the first phase of the Aquatic and Fitness Center transformation is underway. For starters, the town invested over $50,000 in new fitness equipment and renovations to the fitness area. And even more renovations will be forthcoming to the facility to make the facility more welcoming to our patrons. We even brought some fun new ideas to the pool area for people of all ages to enjoy. And for those who want a nice hot sauna to relax in, we've rebuilt the sauna area for those who want to sweat out those extra pounds. Believe it or not, all of the construction work done so far has been done by our very own and very talented town employees who did an outstanding job. The Kenton School District shares our goal of health and wellness. And earlier this month, the town and the Kenton School District entered into an agreement whereby the school district employees will be given a basic single membership to the Aquatic and Fitness Center. And in return, the school district will pay the town monies. This is a win-win for the town and the school district. And I want to thank School Board President Matt Chimera, the entire school board, and School Superintendent Tino Samato for their shared vision for our community on this initiative. While we are looking to transform our Aquatic and Fitness Center into a more vibrant facility for all of our members, that doesn't mean we are forgetting two key organizations who have played an important part in its past, namely our Tonawanda Aquettes and the Tonawanda Titan Swim Club. Last summer, the Tokyo Olympics kicked off, and participating in the Olympics was Tonawanda Aquette alum Anita Alvarez, who got her start right here at the AFC. Not to be outdone, 2021 marked the 50th anniversary of the Titans founding. So all of you out there today, please, if you have a young son, a young daughter, a young grandson, or young granddaughter, please make them aware of our great Aquette and Titan swim teams. I know you will not be disappointed. Speaking of anniversaries, 2021 marks the 75th anniversary of our town's Youth Parks and Recreation Department. Now, I'm not going to get into all that we have planned for celebrating that anniversary, but I will guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. Shifting gears, but not all that much because it still involves the health of our residents, is something you can file under, and the stacks came tumbling down. Last year, on June 5th, the town and its residents turned the page on one of the darkest chapters in our town's history when on a crisp, bright Saturday morning, the former Tonawanda Coke smokestacks came down.
I don't know.
I had the honor, along with the person who started it all, Ms. Jackie James, in pushing the plunger to start the demolition. On my desk, you will see there's a piece of the stack I used as a paperweight, just to remind me of what the town and the town residents went through for all those many decades. And in that bottom photo, you will notice two tall, big guys, myself and former Councilman Barnese, standing next to one of the stacks on that morning it came down. It'll just give you an idea on how big those stacks really were. Since that Saturday morning, a tremendous amount of progress has been made in not only taking down all of the old, dilapidated buildings and structures, but more importantly, in cleaning up the site. I'm being told by people much smarter than me that by around this time next year, we can hope to see some new development starting to take place on the site, something that none of us would have thought possible just a few short years ago. Still focusing on the health and wellness of our residents, we are working on a substantial project over at Kenny Field, due in part to our successful grant award from the Tonawanda Community Environmental Benefits Program. This environmental grant program was established from $1 million in funding obtained as part of the consent decree between the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the New York Office of the Attorney General, and the Tonawanda Coke Corporation regarding the various environmental violations at Tonawanda Coke's former facility. This past September, our Kenny Field project officially became a finalist for the funding. Residents from the town and city of Tonawanda, the city of North Tonawanda, the town of Grand Island, and Buffalo's Riverside community were eligible to cast a ballot on a number of different projects. With over 1,300 ballots cast, our Kenny Field project was awarded $250,000, or 25% of the total amount awarded, for the construction of a multi-use trail, inclusive playground, and mural wall. Additional funding of $200,000 came from Erie County, and the state of New York awarded us $55,000, all of which will be used to complete the paved loop trail, plant trees, and enhance a bio-retention area. Other features will be a new NFT bus shelter. And just recently, Assemblyman Bill Conrad helped us with some additional state funding for a public art feature in the park. If you couldn't tell, we are all very excited about this project and are currently working on getting out the RFP, and we hope to get a shovel in the ground later this year. While the health and wellness of our residents is always going to be a focal point going forward, so too is the need for the town to continue to be a destination spot for companies to move into. The challenge that we face, as you've heard me and others say for years now, is that we don't have a surplus of vacant land available to develop. The vacant land that we do have, however, is still very much in demand. And one of the newest companies coming into our North Youngman Commerce Center is Gear Motions, that is headquartered in Rochester. They had their groundbreaking last fall and hope to be in their building before too long. In addition, Sumitomo Rubber, formerly Dunlop, who has been in our town for over 100 years, is currently in the beginning stages of a $122 million building expansion and equipment upgrade at their facility on Sheridan Drive. Unfortunately, their groundbreaking ceremony was originally scheduled for last week, but it had to be delayed because of the weather. What else? We've dealt with the past, we've dealing with the present, and now I'd like to talk to you briefly about the future. As most of you know, the town's largest taxpayer closed up shop 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago, actually, next Monday, that they closed down, when NRG mothballed their 100-year-old Huntley Power Plant on River Road. The site, containing approximately 95 acres on our waterfront, has just sat there for the past 6 years, while NRG, in my opinion, has done the bare minimum from an environmental cleanup standpoint. I'd like to tell you that I have some positive news on this front, but I can't. The reason being that while NRG stated to town and state officials last year that they would have a preferred developer chosen for the site during last fall, that time has come and gone with no decision being made. Further, NRG has informed the town that they do not know when a decision on the preferred developer will be made. So it would appear that we are no closer to having a developer chosen. Therefore, the town in the coming weeks will be restarting our eminent domain action that we originally withdrew at NRG's request back in February of 2020. We withdrew our litigation after NRG officials assured me that the deal they had struck with someone that they told me was a qualified buyer by their standards would get finalized quicker if we dropped our action. As we all know, that deal fell apart, or as NRG phrased it, it got suspended. So in order to protect our waterfront and to see the redevelopment of the site occur in our lifetime, we will be starting up the eminent domain action. And to show you what we believe the former the Huntley site, what we believe it could become after we get control of the site, here is a short video. You have to dream, folks. And this is our dream. This is our vision for our waterfront going forward. It can happen and it will happen. We've all been through a lot the last 2 years, and we've had to face adversity in ways that we could never have imagined just 2 short years ago. As your town supervisor, I have been able to witness firsthand the kindness, the compassion, the goodness that is in our community. People like Jeff LaPuma and his cousin Mark LaPuma, who called me up one day in my office in November of 2020 and told me that they wanted to make a sizable monetary donation to sponsor a food giveaway to individuals and families who slipped through the cracks during the pandemic. That call was the genesis of our Friends Feeding Friends program. We were joined by Chef J.J. Rickert, who helped cook and prepare the food, and our very own Councilwoman Jill O'Malley and the Kenton Cares program, who helped run the food distribution. And there were many others as well. Thank you to Jeff, Mark, JJ, Jill, and all the others, including Top Supermarket, who provided some of the food, for your compassion and your empathy for your fellow Western New Yorkers. We were also very fortunate to have 2 healthcare industry leaders in the forefront of the fight against COVID right here in our town. Kenmore Mercy Hospital has been very much a part of the fabric about who we are in the town for the past 70 years, having been founded by the Sisters of Mercy in 1951. Since March of 2020, under the leadership of Kenmore Mercy President and CEO Walt Ludwig, their doctors, nurses, aides, and staff were there for their community when we needed them the most. They have had to endure the mental stress and anxiety more than all of us, and they remained right there every day, every step of the way to protect us. As someone who got to witness firsthand the compassion and care they showed to their patients, To everyone at Kenmore Mercy Hospital, on behalf of our entire community, thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do to protect us and serve your community. Another community member who was instrumental in keeping us healthy were the folks at Brighton Eggert Pharmacy. In 2020, they were one of the leaders in getting adequate testing done in an effort to slow the spread of COVID. Then in 2021 and continuing till today, they were there for their community in getting as many people as they could vaccinated. To Don Arthur and everyone at Brighton Eggert Pharmacy, you truly were a lifesaver. Thank you. The town could not have survived without everyone pulling together, our entire community. If we've learned anything these past 2 years, hopefully we've learned that we, human beings, were not meant to socially distance. We were meant to be with each other, to be in close contact with each other, to hug and kiss family members and friends. And for far too long, we were not able to do that. But hopefully we've passed that stage. We're moving forward, we're moving on and getting our lives back to what some would call normal. Although we're not quite there yet, as evidenced by me still having to do the State of the Town address being Zoom. But we're getting there. We did it. You did it. And that's why in 2022, after all that we've been through, I'm so proud and honored to be your town supervisor. The town would not have been able to accomplish all that we did or bring these projects to fruition without the great working relationships that we have with all levels of government. Our U.S. Senators, Chuck Schumer and Christine Gillibrand, and Congressman Brian Higgins have been vital advocates on our behalf with the federal government. We are also fortunate to have wonderful partners in Albany, led by my former colleague, Assemblyman Bill Conrad, and our state senator, Sean Ryan. We also have great partners at the county level, including County Executive Mark Polenkars and our county legislators, former town board members, Lisa Chimera and John Barnese, as well as former Town of Tonawanda board member, John Flynn, serving as our county district attorney. Working together provides a more united front in helping not only our town, but also the entire Western New York community. I also want to take time to thank all of our volunteers and all of our boards, committee members of our various service representing you as we forge ahead. These are exciting. Together, I firmly believe that working together, we can and will overcome any challenges that lie ahead as we continue building a vibrant future for our community. Before I turn it over to any questions that you may have, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of former town supervisor Ron Moline, who passed away this past May. Ron served on the town board from 1982 through 2007, both as supervisor and councilman, and was actually supervisor on 2 separate occasions during that span. I had the good fortune of working with Ron when I started my time on the town board, and trust me, I learned a lot from him. Thank you, Supervisor Moline, for all that you did for your community. So thanks to all of you for your attention this afternoon. May God continue to bless each and every one of you and your families. May he bless our country and our community in the years ahead. Thank you.